Welcome to another episode of Discover Harmony Florida. I'm Kristin Macari, and I'm here with your host,
Jeanine Corcoran, broker for the Corcoran Connection.
Awesome. And so we're in November now. What are you most thankful for this month?
Well, interestingly enough, I was thinking back. I was thinking about, being a resident of Harmony and living here and all the great, we talk about great amenities and everything there is here. But, I have to say, I'm thankful for people in our community that really come together when it's important. Because you always hear about the people who might be on Facebook and complain about dog poop. That's a big thing for some reason in our community. But anyway, so I have a story. I'll try to be as quick as I can. So make a long story short, Kristin's daughter, Olivia, that was going back 2018, it had to be. And so she went missing early in the morning. It was a Sunday morning. And Kristin's sister had just graduated from UF up in Gainesville. So she had called and said, hey, I can't find Olivia. It was for Sunday morning, right? Mm-hmm. And I was still up in Gainesville. And then she said, do you think she went to church with you? Because at the time, Olivia was coming to church with us. And, mm-hmm. She went out to church by herself because we weren't here. So make a long story short, I posted it to a couple of my friends. It got posted out in our local Harmony resident Facebook page. And within, it was less than a half hour. Yeah. Less than a half hour, the whole community was out looking for her. But the funny part was I only messaged two friends that live in Harmony separately. And they weren't even friends with each other. One friend went to the east entrance of Harmony. There's only two entrances. And the other friend went to the west, not knowing either one of them did it, and stopped every car that was coming out of Harmony. One, to search it. All right, they're not police, but they stopped to talk to the people, to check the back seat, make sure Olivia wasn't in it. And then most of the people, when they found out that Olivia was missing, and they said, oh my gosh, we'll turn around and we'll help. Mm-hmm. And so now you're the mom, so you see you have a different side of the story because you dealt with the police when they came. And now the whole neighborhood's looking for Olivia.
Yeah, that was a really incredible time. This is actually why Olivia has a cell phone.
How old was she at the time?
I think she was like 11, or she was getting ready to turn 11. She was young. But as you said, my sister graduated the day before and we were all together. And you ever get so busy and your child comes up to you and they say something to you, but you're not really listening. You're like, yeah. Like, we'll talk about it later. 'Cause you're at an event with a bunch of other people, mm-hmm. and you're having conversations and you're not really picking up what they're saying. And so it turns out, because I had messaged the whole family, asking, for help. Has anybody seen Olivia? Has anybody gone,
mm-hmm.
whatever. And I specifically asked all the ones in Harmony because, we all live in the community. It's possible that, she went with my brother to go get breakfast in the morning and, she just didn't tell
you. Yeah.
And so, it turns out that while we were in Gainesville, my youngest decided to make plans with her grandfather to go out. He drives a truck, and to go join him on a ride the next day. And I guess she told me at the party, and I didn't hear it. And so she just got up the next morning and she went out and she met him. And I never thought to call him because he doesn't live in Harmony. So
and wait, to her point though, she told you. She didn't even ask for permission. No, if she had to get an answer, then you would have heard her.
Right.
Hey, Mom, can I do this? Right. But it wasn't that. Hey, by the way, I'm going here with Papa.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like white noise.
It was. I wasn't. It was.
You probably thought, I'm here with him now, and I'm going somewhere here. I don't
know. I wasn't. Whatever.
But you knocked on people's doors, right?
We did. I went to all of her friends' house. We went over to the church and checked. And my cousin was a detective for Osceola County. And I called him. I said, at what point do I have to call? And he's like, you got to call now. So I did, and the cops came and they helped me search the house because apparently kids like to hide in dryers and closets and whatever, but she wasn't there. And I was giving them the cell phone to give her picture for the Amber Alert, and my sister rang through. And so the guy, the officer came in and he handed me the phone. He said, you're getting a phone call. And I saw it was my sister, and I'm like, Lauren, I love you, but you're in Gainesville. You can't do anything for me. Like, I got to go. And she's like,
before you say it. So Lauren, who was in Gainesville graduating, saw the Facebook post, because I didn't even think to call her because she was in Gainesville.
Right.
And she's like, what the heck's going on with Olivia? I saw the post. And I told her, I said, oh, we're looking for her. Kristin can't find her. And so she said, did anyone call Dad, meaning their father? And I was like, why would they call Dad? Like, he doesn't even live in Harmony. Like, that's all. So when Lauren called Dad, guess who answered the phone?
Olivia. So she of course yelled, I don't have Olivia, but Dad does. So we were seconds away. They actually had the helicopters on the way and the dogs on the way to go look for Olivia. But the point to that is
the people.
How so many people, like, you know,
and this is a Sunday morning, and people, you know, go to church, or they have plans, or they go to the beach. I don't know.
So many different things. It was right around. It wasn't far from Mother's Day. Like, it was like in the beginning, you know, beginning of May, and I just. To that point, like, I'm so super thankful for this community and what they do. Like, they didn't know me. I mean, they knew you, you know, but I mean, listen, everybody knows Olivia. She's like going to run for mayor of town if we ever had one. You know, she knows everybody. She's such a ball of light and loves everybody. And so anyway, point of that story is she ended up getting a cell phone afterwards, so I could call her and find out. And you know, we had a very
I wish you had her location.
Yes, I do. So 9 times out of 10, I just look first and then I ask. But yeah, so it's good. She's definitely my wanderer. So, but I'm grateful for the community because nobody hesitated. They all just like dropped what they were doing. They went out to look. They went to help us. You know, I didn't even think of going to the front of the community to stop cars and be like, "Hey, have you seen my child?"
I can't believe I had 2 friends that even thought of that,
right?
And like didn't even talk to each other. Well, they weren't even friends, and to be like, how did you even pick like separate entrances, you know, to do that? And so back to community helping. Another thankful showing the community and how we are in here in the time of need is that we had an older gentleman, Dick. Who has since passed, but he had Alzheimer's, and he used to walk around. Everyone knew his routine because he'd go down to the garden. His widow's name is Marilyn, lovely lady, and he would just, everyone knew his path, like where he would walk. And sometimes I ride by in the golf cart, and if I see him, I'd say, "Hey, Dick, you need a ride?" It was hot in the afternoon, and bring him home. And Marilyn would always say, "I just love this community because people always look out for my husband." So we all knew his routine, and so apparently one day he got lost, couldn't find it, and the same thing happened. I remember Bill and I took the golf cart and rode on the golf course looking for him, and people were just reporting. And the best part was, like, when they were looking for him, people would report on the Facebook page, like, check the golf course hole number whatever, and he's not here. Now we're on this, and someone else would be, I'm over here on this street and he's not around. Well, poor Dick went for a walk down Butterfly Trail and I guess fell in the ravine and stuff. But it was hard for the sheriffs because the whole town was out and they blocked his street, but the people, I mean, I think everyone in Harmony was out looking for him.
I remember that.
Yeah, and they did ultimately find, the helicopters did come, the dogs, and then when they found Dick, he was riding back in the golf cart and he was waving because he thought he was in a parade. That was so cute, you know what I mean? God, like, he's awesome. Like, oh, look at all these people are here for me. Of course, not realizing what's going on, and my heart, or our heart, goes out, to Marilyn or anyone else that have, family that has, dementia or Alzheimer's. Because again, my mom went through that, and though it is precious to see them go back in time and get to experience what they were like in high school, which I do with my mom, it's still, endearing to us, having had someone.
Absolutely.
So kudos to all of Harmony for pulling together in a time of need.
For sure. So. And that's, I think, one of my favorite parts about living here, because people often say, like, oh, why do you want to live out there? It's so far. But it's a community, and you don't get those very often anymore. When my husband had COVID, way back when, our neighbor came by with all these home remedies, and she was like, use this paste and use these in the diffuser and use it. And I kid you not, like, it like really helped, him get over it really quickly. And so I'm just really thankful that we have good neighbors. That's what really makes this. It's a community. It really is. It's not the kind of place where you like go straight in your house and you don't look at your neighbor and you don't wave. No. So, you know everybody. It's really a lot of fun.
No, absolutely. And so some events that are just happening right now, we're actually having a food drive for the local food bank, and it is being collected by the students of Harmony Community Church. It's a local church right here in Harmony. They meet on Sundays at 10 a.m. in the Harmony Community School. It's a non-denominational church, which I belong to, and they are doing a food drive through November 17th. So you could either come to the church and drop it off 10 o'clock on Sunday, stay if you want, don't stay if you want, or you can go online and at HarmonyCommunity.church, I believe it is, HarmonyCommunity.church. .church. Only churches can have that .church, and then just put a message in there, and someone will come pick up the food. So that's a really good thing. They've been great for the students.
And they're doing a challenge, if I'm not mistaken, like the kids who collect the most win a prize. So they're really trying to make it competitive with the kids, and which is important. I mean, you're talking about teenage kids, middle, high school. Yeah. There's a lot worse things they could be doing. They have a big group of kids. What is it, like almost 40 people?
Every time I hear it's a different number, but there's a good chunk of middle and a lot of high schoolers. So it's good, and the kids have something to do, and they make it fun. So so that's a great thing that's going on right now.
So speaking of events, we also have a fun event this weekend. It's the Harmony Fall Festival.
I love that.
Yep, it's Sunday from 2 to 5.
Now, is that at the town square or is it down Lakeshore?
This is at Lakeshore Park.
Okay, so because that's a bigger area.
Oh, much bigger, yeah. And from what I hear, they're going to have a pumpkin patch. They're going to have food trucks, a hayride.
Oh, that's fun, hayride.
Wasn't Rachel, my oldest daughter, was in a photo early years of Harmony for a fall festival on a hayride with a pumpkin.
Yes.
She was in the local newspaper. So we love these events. They're so much fun.
Wait, she was in the newspaper?
Yeah, you clicked it out for me.
Oh, I don't have it in a scrapbook. Can I have it back? I do have a whole fall page for her, but I don't have that. So you're gonna have to give it back.
I know. Well, you shouldn't have given it to me in the first place. Though. But that's
a fun event.
Yeah, they'll have face painting. They have a pumpkin patch. They have they'll have a DJ, a bounce house, a petting zoo. A lot of fun stuff. Like, I love the events that, Jennifer puts on for the community.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll be, this cool weather will stay, and that would be great. Doing that. Yeah.
And that's from 2 to 5, so right before sunset. And then they're also going to do a chili cook-off.
Yeah, that's the fun. They had done that years and years, so that's supposed to be a lot of fun, the chili cook-off.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I wonder who's going to win, who has the best chili. Okay, question. How do you like your chili? Do you like it like spicy chili? Do you like it like a mild chili? Do you like it like hearty? Do you like it like what?
I don't eat meat.
I know.
So I'm no meat chili. But when I ate chili with meat, a little bit spicy. I like it spicy.
Yeah, a little spicy. Yeah. So now here's another thing I heard. Did you know some people put chili over rice?
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
That's like weird to me. I never did that.
That's kind of like grits with shrimp. Like, I love grits.
Right.
When I grew up north, it was called farina, but here it's called grits. I think it's the same thing. Tastes the same. But they eat it with shrimp. And I'm like, I love shrimp, but I wouldn't put those two together.
Right.
I don't know. But I see people eat it all the time. I'm always like, okay, keep those grits away from my shrimp.
Right.
I don't know.
So then that's a question you got to answer for me. Do you eat your chili with rice? So that's a new thing.
Question. Oh, it is?
I mean, it's new to me. Like, I saw, and then, of course, I forget, a friend of mine posted, I think last year when it was like, getting cool and you were starting to make chili. And they were like, yeah, I love it over rice. And I'm like, what? Who does that? And apparently a lot of people do that.
Wow.
So I didn't know that. Anyway, so the things that make you think. But that's exciting. So I love the fall festival that's this weekend. What else do we have going on in November?
So then we have November 19th. It's a Friday night. It's 6:30 at night. Of course, it will be dark, and it gets dark here in Florida right around between 5:30 and 6 right now with the time change. And so at 6:30 at night, Friday the 19th, we have movie night in Town Square, and the movie is called Freebirds. Now they have food trucks. Please bring your chair, bring your bug spray if it's needed. If it's warm, you need your bug spray. But what is Freebirds?
It's where the president pardoned the turkey for Thanksgiving dinner or something. It's a cartoon. It's a couple years old, but it's like a kid's, more of a, kid's movie. I'm sure I haven't seen it in quite some time, but knowing a cartoon kids movie, it probably has some adult humor in there as well that kind of goes over the kids' heads. So I'm sure it'll be fun for everybody. But regardless, again, like, these are great. I think, what did we just watch in October was Haunted Mansion, which was funny. That was actually on homecoming night. So everybody, all the kids were gathering for the movie, and all the teenagers were going out and taking pictures in the town square. So it was a really cool juxtaposition of different times in their life. But the town square movies are always so much fun. Lots of great times with the kids, and they go and run and play. I mean, it's definitely more for the families. And you can come out there, bring dinner, buy dinner, whatever, have a blanket, and maybe it'll be a little cool. That'd be nice.
No, absolutely. And so then they have December 10th, which is also a Friday. They have their Christmas in Town Square, so that's 5:30 to 9. Now, they did say free to Harmony residents, non-residents of $5. Mm-hmm. How is that going to happen?
I don't know.
I'm just saying, because we're not a gated community.
Right. Like, I guess the honor system.
You block off the front and check every car? I don't know. But anyway, maybe, you know what? Maybe it's like if you want to do any of the events that they have.
Right, like the activities?
Yeah, like, maybe then, so for instance, they have Mr. and Mrs. Claus, of course. They have a snow slide, horse and carriage, Christmas carolers, food trucks, caricature artist, DJ, letters to Santa there also, balloon critters, face painting, s'mores, train rides. So there's a lot. So maybe residents get some kind of band.
Right.
And then anyone else that doesn't have the band, maybe they have to then pay $5 to get a band. Right. That they can do all these little events. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I just thought that through as we were talking, because I was like, what are they going to do? Block the road? Right. But you can walk around for free if you're a non-resident, but if you want to do any of the activities, it is $5, which is really not bad.
No, not at all. And they're also going to have the holiday market there too, with the different vendors. So if you miss out on some of the downtown St. Cloud events, which for those of you that don't know, our neighboring town St. Cloud, they have these great monthly markets in the downtown St. Cloud area. We actually have a podcast on discovering St. Cloud, Florida too. So if you're interested in the greater St. Cloud area, check that one out as well. So that's a lot of fun. It's so funny. My neighbors absolutely adore them. They have a lot going on this year. They just had a grandbaby. Literally the 1st of November, they had a grandbaby. And they sell health insurance. So it's a busy time of year because open enrollment, but, they decorated for Christmas. They had their lights put up on November 1st. And it was funny because they had their Christmas lights up and I still had all my Halloween stuff up. But I love the enthusiasm in Harmony for the holidays, for any of the holidays, really. Like, everybody just goes kind of all out and decorates, and it's so much fun. It's my favorite time of year to be able to go on the golf cart at night and drive around and see all the stuff that goes out. And so,
right. And in October they had the Halloween, not on Halloween night, but they had the golf cart parade.
Right.
And then they had the Halloween decorating contest. So they had one main winner, and they couldn't decide on the next three. So they just gave them all the runner-up prize. And so they posted that, and that was nice. And I'm sure this month they'll also do the decorating for Christmas.
Yep, they usually do.
And they usually do the golf cart parade also.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm super excited. Funny enough, the winner for the Halloween decorating contest was actually like a block away from us. They had a Bates Motel theme, and it was like they really outdid themselves. And they had their roof replaced too, like the week of Halloween. So I was like, that's crazy. You guys had all this stuff.
And I heard in the estates, so the Baker's house, they had pictures of that looked really nice too, because in the estates in the back, it's like I don't think they have as many street lights, or it just seems
so much darker
back there. And the houses, bigger lots, and it's beautiful. And and so to have the Bakers do the house like that was really nice.
Yeah, there are so many cool experiences for Halloween. So I'm super excited for Christmas.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I'm thankful that, my neighbors have their lights up, and, they actually had resident J. Michael Parrish come out and hang the lights. Awesome service, by the way. I love that. But, they haven't finished decorating the rest of the house, but I was like, kudos to you. And I'm glad that they did, because it gives me the little bit of holiday spirit, and also, I'll get on the bandwagon.
I did. I felt like as soon as Halloween was over, I was like, all right, I'm going to go put the tree up. But then I fizzled. I don't know what happened. I started working.
Right. Exactly. I know.
So but also, just for those of you who are in the area and don't know, whether you're from Harmony or outside of Harmony, on December 24th, Christmas Eve, there is a Christmas service and it's in the square, and it's put on by HarmonyCommunity.church. It starts at 6 p.m. It's only about 30 minutes. Bring your chair. There are no chairs in the square. There's a ledge you can sit on. You bring a blanket or bring your lounge chair, but it's about 30 minutes. Basically, read about the Christmas story, have some Christmas caroling, some music, a short message, and it's just a great way to, if you're not doing anything Christmas Eve, just sit outside for 30 minutes and just really, be in the spirit of just what Christmas is all about. And so that's kind of neat. Yeah. I'm glad that the church does that.
That is. It's a really nice time. A couple years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, Olivia read the scripture, although I think Luke. She speed read through it.
No, she did a great job.
She did great. So it's really cool though how they involve people who really want to be involved, and it's a great time, great fellowship, and it's nice to do it on Christmas Eve right in your community, right in the square. I always love when we do services outside. There's an Easter one too, and it's nice. It's nice to be able to be outside and enjoy that. So that's, there's tons of stuff coming up in Harmony.
And it's not in Harmony, Florida, but it's always good to mention. So there is Give Kids the World, and it's called Night of a Million Lights. And we went last year. They started it because of COVID. You want to talk a little bit about what Give Kids the World is? It's in Kissimmee, on that road called 192.
Right.
Way before you get to Disney. It's right off of 192. It's right behind the Walmart there, down in Kissimmee.
Yeah. And so Give Kids the World Village, for those of you that don't know, their mission, they provide critically ill children and their families with a magical week-long vacation at no cost. Yeah. So they bring them in, they put them in, they have these cute little houses that they stay in. And last year, of course, these are critically ill children, so you're not going to bring them out in the middle of a pandemic. And so it really... everything was kind of sitting empty. It was a really sad time. And so they got together. They had a ton of sponsors that came out and decorated these houses.
Each
different
sponsor
companies
did a house, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They bought the lights. They put them all up. And all the fees from the tickets, merchandise, food and beverage, all that stuff, it all 100% goes back into Give Kids the World to be able to provide these experices for
because they're all free for the family.
100%
free. And so growing up, we volunteered. The kids, volunteered back then, and we would serve meals. Perkins was one of the meal providers, and we would go there and serve the people, serve the children, and like she said, they're all critically ill, and so this is their dream vacation. They come here, they get tickets to go everywhere, and then they get this this place to stay for free. But the place, Give Kids the World itself, is like a mini amusement park.
It really is,
and everything is free. It's kind of like being on a magical cruise ship or something.
Right, but on land.
On land, and everything is free. You want ice cream? Let's go to the ice cream parlor. We had a volunteer at the ice cream parlor.
Yeah.
You go, and it's just like, what would you like? And everything's free. There's no tipping. There's no anything. These are all run by volunteers. It's all nonprofit, and these families are so thankful, and it's so beautiful to see just the children smile, all kinds of, like they have all kinds of sickness. So because of COVID, that's been hard,
right?
Because that's a lot of people to have in one place and whatnot. So walking through and seeing the lights. We went last year and it poured.
Oh, it was a torrential downpour. It was not pouring. It was a tsunami. Like we were literally. I remember Rachel had new Air Force Ones that she got for her birthday, and the water was like up to her knees.
Well, we started out, it was just drizzling. It was like, okay, isn't this beautiful? It's just drizzling. And then like 15 minutes later, that was the end of that. Yeah. It was downpour, but we still enjoyed it. And anyway, I have a reel on Jeanine Corcoran, which is just my private, Instagram page. But if you look at my reels, it's one of my first reels. I think I have over 3,800 people have looked at it already. Oh, and so you get a little glimpse of us in our rain gear, what we did last year, walking through the Night of Million Lights. Yeah. But so the price Monday through Thursday is $25 for adults, $15 for kids. Then when you get into the weekend, is $35 for the adults, $18 for the kids. And again, this all goes to a good cause. And then if you go during any of the holiday times like Christmas Eve, Christmas, then you're looking at it's $40 and $20 for the kids. But it's well worth it, and it really
so worth it.
It's so whenever you go to Mickey and Minnie's house in Disney World, and it's very they make these houses alive but very cartoonish.
Right.
That's what Give Kids the World houses remind me of, the
Yes.
villas. They're normal living inside.
Right.
But the outsides, they just look like they're in a little fantasy world.
They do.
The colors they use, the purples and the pinks and the yellows, and
Yeah.
just...
It's such a cool experience,
Yeah.
and we really enjoyed it even in the rain. Well, I don't know about my teenagers. They didn't enjoy it so much, but we enjoyed it. It was a fun experience. And I'm actually looking forward to going back this year. I don't know. I might keep an eye on the weather a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely.
Pick a better
Well, I think
day.
because we bought the tickets ahead of time online.
We did, like, way far in advance. Because
Yeah.
didn't we go, like, right before Christmas? It was,
Yeah.
like, 2 days before Christmas or something like that.
Yeah.
That we decided to go. So this time let's make a better plan for a nice night.
Yeah,
So-
no, it's definitely worth doing. It is not in Harmony, but again, it's not far from us and down towards Disney, and it's for a good cause, and a lot
Yeah.
of people don't know about it.
Right. That's a cool thing to do. I mean, I love it. Like, growing up, we had these little, like, glasses that you put on that would change the lights into different things.
Well, don't
they'd be
say
like,
had, because we still have them.
I know.
And they come out every Christmas.
They do, along with the Christmas
And
Carol
she and the
book.
kids borrow them to go look at Christmas lights on the golf cart.
We do. Listen, you can have little dancing snowmen. You can have, starbursts. You can have the ones that say Merry Christmas. Like, there's all sorts of different ones. So it's a really cool experience, and definitely a lot of fun. Something good to do. Great family atmosphere, and they have different packages too. Like, they have there's like a dessert night or whatever. You can go and you can get dessert, and so anyway, there's lots of things you can do. And again, it's a great cause for this organization. So
Yeah, definitely. A lot to do in Harmony. We're thankful for a lot. There's some great events coming up with all the holiday season. And if you want to step outside of Harmony or step out of St. Cloud, then you go all the way down to Kissimmee and go to Give Kids the World. It's a great event.
Yep, you're going to love it. So, well, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us again
thank
for
you.
Discover Harmony Florida. Check us out on our next podcast.
We'll see you next month.